AfterBuzz begin!
Hey everybody, welcome to the Young and the Restless wrap for the week ending September 1st. It is awesome to have you guys back. Of course, we're starting with the theme song, the amazing song that when Abby was still here, we used to say how much we loved it. Shout out to Abby, even though she's no longer on the show. And also, shout out to all the people that are in the chat. We have Nikisha, Taylor, Aaron, Honey Smile 320, Hubby Joe. You guys are awesome. Thank you for being here every week. You are my amazing co-hosts. Without you, I could not do this show. So thank you. And I think I said everyone, but as we get more people in the chat, I will definitely call out your names. So let's start off by talking about the sex ring and everything that's happening with that, because to me, that was probably the biggest piece of news that we got, especially when Alice comes into the picture. I don't know about you guys, but as soon as we saw her, I knew who she was, even though I had not actually seen her on the show before because I didn't watch back when she was on. I knew that she was the leader of the sex ring. I was like, yep, nope, they are putting too much emphasis on that woman sitting at the table. And then when Nick recognized her, I was like, yeah, there's something up with her. So, we have Brittany Duran. She says, hey girl. Hey Brittany, thanks for joining. And, Nikisha says, listening to the song is so soothing. Yeah, I agree with you. And maybe it's because they used to, at home, we used to have it on when I was a kid. So whenever I hear it, it reminds me of that time in my life of being little and like listening to a theme song in the background. But I really love the song. It's very peaceful and nice every single time. And even though we know we're entering with a peaceful song, but the drama will not be so peaceful. Nikisha said, I suspected it too. About Alice. Yeah, there was just something up with her. They made it so obvious that there was something we were going to learn. And then as she was just sitting in there and everything else was happening, and we'll get back to Alice in a second, but let's kind of go back to the beginning of all this with the sex ring, which is with Tessa and Mariah, because I really thought that they did a wonderful job of showing Tessa growing in this last week in terms of the fact that she finally was able to go to the police with Mariah with some, encouraging, but of course, but she did it. And she went, and that moment between Mariah, Sharon, and Tessa was amazing. I think that was probably one of my favorite moments this week when we saw just how we saw Tessa's walls kind of fall because suddenly she realizes, oh, well, Sharon's kind of lived a similar life to me. So it really helped. Like, of all the people Tessa could have confided in, I feel like she picked the best two people that she could have. And just seeing her finally admit what was going on and that Crystal was her sister, it was a wonderful moment. And I love the quote that Sharon tells Tessa. She says something along the lines of, Mariah and I will be your family from now on, and we'll help you find Crystal together. It was amazing. Thank you for that quote. Oh my gosh, I loved it. So in the chat, Brittany says, yeah, I feel bad for Crystal. Hope they get closer to finding who's responsible. Yeah. And Nikisha said her coming back is shady. About Alice, yeah, definitely. And then Aaron says, oh my God, she had Cassie in her custody. What if she forced Cassie into the sex ring? Yeah, so that was also what I was wondering, because I know I've heard that Cassie died in a car accident all those years ago, 2005? And I almost started wondering if they were going to bring Cassie back and that it would turn out she wasn't dead. But then the problem is they would... the actress who plays Mariah, she'd have to be on like a lot more, and it might get confusing between Mariah and Cassie. So I don't know, maybe they won't go down that path, but I was almost wondering if it was going to turn out that Cassie was in a sex ring and she had disappeared, and that's why, unless they showed, that she actually had died, and maybe there's too much proof of it, but I don't know because I did not watch that part of, back in 2005. But if anyone in the chat has any thoughts on that or comments, or if you have anything to kind of shed light on whether or not Cassie is 100% gone, I would love to hear. So we have Honey Smile 320 says, I think no, Cassie was raised by Sharon and Nick when she was a little girl. She died at 14. Yeah. So if that's the case, if she actually did die, then I don't think she was in a sex ring either, because I think it would have been, from what I've read on their backstory, she would have been too young, number one, and then number two, it sounds like she spent a lot of time with Nick and Sharon too. Hubby Joe says, is Zach Alice's son, husband, partner in crime, love interest? I was going more along the lines of love interest. Could be son. I mean, I guess it could be either, because Zach does look a lot younger than Alice, but who knows on this show. I was going more toward love interest, though, because it would be even more messed up what Zach's doing to Abby, where he's going and kissing her and then texting his girlfriend / maybe wife that he'll be home soon. So I kind of thought, okay, this guy, Zach, is definitely crummy. And for a while, even before I thought he was involved with the sex ring, I knew something was up with him, that he was planning something and using Abby and Victor in the process of whatever it was he was planning. And so I just think it would be even more awful if it turned out that Alice was actually his girlfriend, and that he's, messing around with Abby and basically setting Abby up so she's going to get her heart broken. And I can't believe Victor didn't see past that either. He kind of did. That's like, okay, so I don't like Victor too much. But in the scene with Abby, Victor, and Zach, for a second, I thought Victor was going to see through Zach when the blogging came up and they were talking about, Zach was coming up with some random reason why he didn't want to go public with the app. And it just, I don't know. To me, a guy like Victor, maybe he did call BS on it, but he didn't want to say it in front of Abby. I'm not sure. But if he didn't realize that something was up, then I don't know, because Victor to me is the kind of guy who probably would smell BS from a mile away. Honey Smile 320 says, Cassie's death brought on the Nick and Phyllis affair and birth of Summer. Okay, that makes sense. Aaron says maybe Alice is Tessa and Crystal's mom. Ooh, that's interesting, because Tessa did not see Alice in the cafe to be able to recognize her. So we don't know if Tessa knows this woman yet, and Tessa has not seen her at all anywhere that we are aware of since Alice has been back. The other question is, since Alice is living in Genoa City now, I wonder how long she's actually been there and under the radar. Has it been just since the sex ring was going on and since we were kind of introduced to Crystal? Or I wonder what's going on with that, and how she got into town and just kind of snuck her way in, because to me the town seems pretty small. I imagine they would have been able to see her somewhere else before. And speaking of Genoa City, let's talk about everything that happened with Sharon and Scott when they went to the house, and the creepy neighbor. That creepy neighbor stole the scene, by the way. Even though I don't know if she was trying to be creepy, but she definitely came off that way. And I was really curious what Sharon even had planned. Like, I know they were going to try to give the credit card back, but okay, what if they saw Alice? What then? But my husband and I were watching, and we both thought that they were going to be there and they were going to see Zach walk into the house. That's what we predicted, but I guess it didn't happen. Not yet, anyway. Aaron says that app is a scam. Yeah, definitely. There's something going on, and I feel bad for Abby because, I mean, I'm kind of not, she's not one of my favorite characters, but I don't dislike Abby as a character either. But I feel bad for her because she is obviously really into Zach, or I don't know if really is the right word, but she's not, like, it doesn't seem like she's head over heels for him, but she is interested in him. Okay, really interested in him. That's where I'll use really. And it's just without knowing too much of her backstory, I know that she's been through a divorce, and so I just feel bad that she's gonna get her heart broken again. And not only that, but it's gonna look really bad with business too. And Victor might not trust her taste in men after this. Not that Victor would ever really trust anyone's taste in men, because he seems like he's very controlling and will go out of his way to like spy on, you know, the guys that his daughter or grandchildren or whoever are trying to see. I did think it was really funny though when Victor, he like took his fist and just tried to, you know, like shook it in the air like, if he hurts you, I swear. Yeah. Victor Newman is her father. Or yeah, Victor Newman's her father. I would not mess with Abby, but I guess Zach doesn't realize that yet. In the chat, Aaron says, yeah, she popped up like a psychopath. Yeah, that neighbor, she had wide eyes and everything too. Like, come on. what kind of neighbor? I mean, unless they live in a really strange neighborhood and they just have really funny neighbors, I don't know. Honey Smile 320 says Scott and Abby will be together after he saves her from Zach. Yeah, I really want that to happen. The chemistry between Scott and Abby is great. And I really want Sharon and Nick to get back together. I'm still hoping for that, even though it kind of annoyed me that when Sharon saw Alice leave and she saw the car and she recognized it from her picture, it was kind of annoying that Nick played it off like it was probably just in Sharon's head. And I really liked how Scott stepped up and said, no, you're probably right, Sharon. Like, that to me is a much more supportive guy. Not that I don't like Nick, because Nick has, you know, definitely has his moments. But in that particular situation, I thought the way Scott handled it was much more supportive and much nicer. Could be, too, that Scott has also kind of seen some of these guys because of him going to the Day and Night Inn and checking it out. So I guess that could also put him in a different perspective since he's more involved than Nick. But I still don't think Nick should have been so quick to push it away like what Sharon saw meant nothing. So let's see. Honey says, oh, yeah, everyone's agreeing with Honey about Abby and Scott getting together. Yeah, definitely. And Aaron says, yeah, that neighbor creeped me out. Brittany, yeah, the neighbor, she creeped me out for sure when she popped up on them. So, all right, so we've talked about the sex ring. Pretty much, I guess going back to Alice, my prediction with her is that it's so obvious that she is either brainwashing some of the girls or just scaring them so badly that they're not gonna leave, I guess. Because with Crystal anyway, it sounds like Crystal and Tessa came from a really bad family situation. So a girl like Crystal's probably used to someone kind of treating her that way and telling her certain things that are negative. So I'm sure that makes it extra hard for Crystal to just walk away and get out of it, because someone who is in a healthier place in their life, they might see past a woman like Alice instantly and get out. But it's hard. It's easier when you remember and think about what Tessa and Crystal went through, what we're told they went through. It is way easier to imagine why they would stick around and not budge and stick where they are. So I predict that Sharon or Tessa, I think one of the two of them is going to quickly figure it out, who's behind all this. I wonder how quickly they're actually going to figure out that Zach's involved. So what do you guys think? Do you think that, first of all, that conversation between Abby and Victor and Zach, do you think Victor had any idea about Zach's true intentions? And do you think that anyone else is going to be able to figure it out? And if you do, who do you think is going to figure it out first? So we'll kind of move on a little bit. When you guys get back to me in the chat, I will bring it up. But just to kind of move along here. So let's quickly touch on Lily, Kane, Jordan, Hillary, etc. Let's just kind of touch on all of them for a moment, and then we'll get back to Alice and Zach once we have our predictions. Okay, so this week we kind of started with Kane and Hillary. What do you guys think of their little tryst/meetings that they're having? Because I'm almost starting to wonder if Kane and Hillary should just get together, because they're both kind of, well, Hillary's more of the backstabber, but they both kind of manipulate the situation a little bit, and they both are really good at lying. They might as well just be together. They can lie to each other. So I kind of see it like that. I wonder, like, at first I thought that Kane and Juliet were going to hook up, like, for real and actually get together. Now I'm wondering if they're pushing it towards Kane and Hillary. However, I do think it's kind of ridiculous, like extra ridiculous, how Hillary's acting. She just cannot take the fact that Jordan dumped her, can she? And she, like, whether it's on the air or whether it's in person, she just can't stop meddling with people's lives. Like, get over it, Hillary. He doesn't want to be with you. And I don't even think that Jordan did it just because of Lily. He did it because, whether he was going to be with Lily or not, he did it because of who Hillary is. He doesn't want to be with a person like that. And Hillary does not want to take that as an answer. And a couple of people were telling her, like, hey, like, you're going to get another guy. Like, it's not going to be hard for you. But Hillary is acting like a little kid, like, no, I want this guy because he rejected me. So it's interesting how she's trying to get her way, and how she keeps meeting with Kane, and how she, I don't know, their new plan that basically she wants Kane to, like, get in with the twins, because then Lily will follow suit. I love how she put that too. Only Hillary would say something like that. So I did kind of feel bad for Maddie a little bit when she was getting upset about her mom and Jordan being together. I don't know, though. I think that the way that Lily's acting with Jordan is very reasonable. It's not like they are dating officially. I mean, I know the chemistry is definitely there, and it definitely seems like it's heading in that direction. But Lily was very honest with Jordan and said that she is not even divorced yet, so she doesn't want to go down that path. So I feel like Lily's handling it very reasonably. I just wish that she wouldn't have told Maddie to kind of take it slow with Reed. Because I feel like if Lily hadn't said that, then Maddie probably wouldn't care as much with everything going on between Lily and Jordan. But I really hope Lily and Jordan actually get together, and that there's no problems that keep them apart. But, of course, there will be problems. In the chat, okay, we have... Aaron says, I want to know more about Tessa's background. It's hard for me to root for her when she tells us nothing about her life. You know what? I agree with you. And Tessa as a character sometimes annoys me because we don't know too much, and I feel like she's hiding everything. I want to like her as a character, and generally I do. And generally I want to see her get with Mariah. That's frustrating too, because they were they were pushing that so much, and then all of a sudden nothing. So, but with Tessa, it is kind of frustrating how she just won't tell us anything. And even Mariah, her best friend, it took her so much, to actually come out and talk more. And I think that there's way more, too, beneath the surface that we won't find out about for a long time. Taylor says, I feel awful for the twins. Yeah, I do, too. And I forget who it was. I think it was Lily mentioned that she's only been separated from Kane for a few days at this point. Of course, it feels like a lot longer because we've been watching this the last couple weeks. But yeah, apparently it's only been a couple days that they've been separated. So I do understand where Maddie's coming from, seeing her mom with another guy all of a sudden. But it's not like Lily and Jordan are making out in front of the kids or doing anything crazy. It is just coming off like they're just two friends. But at the same time, I understand what she's saying, especially with Lily saying, take it easy with Reed. Ice Woman says, I think that Mariah should use that she looks like Cassie against Alice somehow. Interesting. And speaking of that, I'm assuming Alice doesn't even know about Mariah, because Mariah came later, posing as Cassie as first. That, I think Victor had her do that. So I'm curious what will happen when if Alice sees Mariah, and what Mariah's involvement is going to be in this once that those two worlds kind of collide. Because it seems like from the flashbacks that even though Alice was kind of running around with guys, at the same time, she seemed like she did care about Cassie in a strange way and did want possession of her. So I'll be real curious what emotions seeing Mariah brings up in Alice. Hubby Joe says, Lily and Jordan, Kane and Juliet. Yeah, I could see those pairings. I definitely don't want Kane and Lily. That would make me angry, especially after what Kane has done to Lily. She's an honest person, and I feel like that would be the wrong pairing. Kane should go with someone who is more like dishonest. Hillary would be awesome for him, or even Juliet, because she's not the most honest person either. So yeah, but just not Lily. Aaron Brody says, I like Hillary dating Kane for revenge. Yeah, that would be interesting. And I wonder how Lily would even react to that, because she would probably expect Juliet, not Hillary. But if she walks in and suddenly she sees Hillary all over Kane, I definitely think Lily would be really upset, but probably really thrown at the same time. I don't know if Kane would do that right now, though. He seems really, he doesn't even seem like he likes Hillary. I don't even know why he's having these meetings with her. After all, Hillary's the one who pushed Juliet to sue, so I don't know. But yeah, he's having these conversations with her, and he just seems like he is still very angry with her. But I don't know. I'm sensing a lot of tension beneath that between Kane and Hillary. Hubby Joe says, Hillary in the front of a moving train. That would be interesting. Aaron's laughing at that, and Taylor's laughing. And okay, so here we go. So Honey Smile 320 says, Hillary doesn't care just as long as she gets back at Lily for taking Jordan. Yeah, definitely. I feel like she would hook up with Kane just to mess with Lily, and somehow think she could get Jordan back by doing that. I don't know. And I love how, I think it was Mariah who told Hillary, you acting like this is just going to push Jordan away more. Or no, wait, it might have been Chelsea, I think, when Hillary went to basically blackmail her, which again, I thought that was so messed up. So Chelsea, who has nothing really to do with Jordan other than the fact that they're friends and they have a history of doing something bad, Hillary decides she's going to go pay Chelsea a visit. And, oh, by the way, Chelsea, it's a shame about your past with Jordan. I wonder how Lily would react if she knew about that. I was so irritated with Hillary. What is she even trying to do at this point? She's meddling with too many people. So, yeah, just another reason I was a little PO'd at her. And Honey Smile says, Kane is desperate. Desperate calls for desperate measures. Yeah, I could definitely see him doing anything at this point. Aaron says, yep, Hillary would totally do that. Aaron also says, right, honey, Kane will do anything if it gets him Lily back. Yeah, definitely. He would do anything, including manipulating his own kids, which is what it seems like they're pushing toward right now. So I am really worried about the future of Kane and what he has planned next, because he's been caught up in so many lies in the past that it's just gonna keep getting worse for him. When's he gonna lie next? When's he gonna manipulate someone next? Probably soon. So, all right. So we talked about everything going on with Hillary, Jordan, Lily. Let's kind of segue into everything going on with Devon, Mariah, and Hillary, because it wasn't enough for Hillary to try and meddle with people to get Jordan back. She's gonna meddle with Mariah, and so Hillary, we kind of go back to the Hillary hour, and Mariah is just innocently walking around. And of course, Hillary goes up to her and says, "Oh, I'm so sorry if I ruined your date with Devon." Of course, Mariah has no idea what she's talking about, and me as the viewer, I had no idea what Hillary was talking about. I remembered that lunch scene she had with Devon, but I thought that, Devon actually left to go see Mariah. I guess he didn't, and oh my god, like, that is just so messed up, the way that Hillary's trying to mess with it. It's like, come on, like, Hillary, who do you want? Do you want Jordan, Devon? Oh, okay, the answer is she actually wants both, because these are two men that have turned her down and rejected her. So the problem is, though, what Devon did was definitely wrong. If he skipped seeing Mariah so he could hang around Hillary for a longer amount of time. But just the way that Hillary said it to Mariah, like, come on, like, why are you even doing this? It's not, like, you're trying to get with Jordan right now, so come on, stop. But of course she won't. And of course that led into a conversation between Devon and Mariah. And the thing that sticks out in my mind the most is that moment when they were talking about the L word, and Devon says, "I will say it. I will say I love," and then Mariah just cuts him off because no, he's about to say it for the wrong reasons. I don't see it between them. I see Devon more with Hillary, at least. That's Hillary. I don't know who she actually wants. I think she just wants whoever doesn't want her because she wants the attention. Devon, though, he clearly wants Hillary, and he still has unresolved feelings for her, and it's not fair to Mariah. And I just was really, like, irritated by the position that Hillary put Mariah in by, saying something like that to her. But what did you guys think about that? Honey Smile says, "I wish Mariah would leave Devon. He clearly loves Hillary. Let them be together. He clearly put her in the friend zone permanently with benefits." Yeah, and the thing is that I feel like Mariah is the kind of woman who, like, when I see her, she comes off as someone who respects herself and is not typically jealous. But I feel like she's letting Devon get away with things that she shouldn't. And yeah, like, Devon hasn't really done anything that bad. Okay, gawking at Hillary during the 4th of July is pretty bad, and blowing off Mariah to have lunch with Hillary is definitely really bad. But other than that, like, okay, fine. He hasn't technically done anything bad or cheated, or he has been, as he puts it, committed to Mariah, but I think he's just lying to himself. Internally, he's not 100% committed to Mariah, and she deserves better, and she shouldn't put up with a guy who's doing that to her. So I think she just needs to say, all right, let's just be friends, or nothing at all. See you later, and find someone else who gives her the time of day that she deserves. Hubby Joe says, "Hillary wants everyone and everything. Somehow she will burn herself and get kicked off her show." I would love to see her get kicked off her show. Like, she does something so bad and outrageous that they just can't allow her to continue anymore. That would be great. But then, of course, she has to stick around because she'll find other ways to be an antagonist to other characters, of course. Honey Smile, okay, that was the comment about Mariah leaving Devon. Aaron says, "Devon is in denial. He's not over Hillary." I completely agree with you. Hubby Joe says Devon is in the wrong. Aaron says Devon doesn't love Mariah. She's just the rebound. I'm glad she came to that conclusion. Yeah, and that's the problem, is that Mariah deserves more than to be the rebound woman. So I really want her to just end it already with Devon, and maybe he'll learn his lesson that you can't stay like that and have these unresolved feelings for someone else and try to be with another person. But we'll see what happens with that. Personally, I think Devon is just much more focused on his career at this point. Taylor says Devon definitely wants Hillary. Yeah, most definitely. So, all right, we talked about Hillary and Chelsea. Chelsea and Jordan had a little conversation. And Jordan even said to Chelsea, and I think this was before Hillary came to like mess with Chelsea. Jordan said something along the lines of, I wonder what Lily would think of me if she knew my past. So clearly this is the direction they're heading in, and his past is going to come up at some point, but we will see what happens with that. I think at this point we should kind of move into the conversation with everything going on with Billy, Victoria, Jack, Dina, and then we can even touch on like Ravi and Ashley a little. So, all right. So as everything was happening with the sex ring and everything with Lily, Kane, Jordan, etc., we had everything happening with Billy. So I personally do not see Billy and Phyllis lasting very long. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but in the one sense, I do feel a little bad for Phyllis because she generally seems like she's been pretty on Billy's side, and that she hasn't really, she did the one thing with Benjamin to try and get, basically just to try and get Billy more of Billy's time, but she generally didn't seem to be as gung-ho about taking down Brash and Sassy as Jack was. So, yeah, some of what she did was in the wrong, but I don't know. I still just don't see Billy and Phyllis together. I just feel like they're on two different teams, even though they've tried to make it work. Phyllis is just always gonna Phyllis is never going to be able to fully understand what's going on with Billy because Billy is more wrapped up in his company with Victoria. And they just seem like Victoria and Billy seem like they're way better together. When Victoria suggested, taking a look at Phyllis's computer and basically going on and logging in and getting the information that way, the fact that Billy would even agree to it tells me what side he's on. He will always choose Victoria and Brash and Sassy over Phyllis. Even though he defended her and said she's not the bad guy, which was nice of him to say, even though he was doing this, he also, it's clear where his loyalties lie, and it's clear to Victoria where his loyalties lie too. I'm really surprised, though, that she wouldn't tell him what she found out from Ravi about Benjamin and Phyllis meeting. I'm wondering when she will, because something like that is definitely going to come up, but I guess that Victoria is just not trying to cause any drama. The way that I see her right now, aside from when she hit her head and was having kind of random moments when she was doing kind of like drunk things, aside from that, she seems like a very level-headed character to me. So I guess she's trying to be mature and she's not trying to cause any more drama than necessary. But it was kind of a nice moment when she did admit to Nikki that the more time she spends with Billy at the office, the more times she wishes that they were back together. I just really want them to get back at this point. They just need to. They need to work things out and get together. So Brittany says, yes, Billy and Phyllis won't last much longer, and he will find out she's working with Jack, and he will go back to Victoria. Definitely. Hubby Joe says Phyllis is wrong and will get burned, and she's going to push Victoria and Billy together. Exactly. And it was kind of, I kind of laughed at that moment when they showed, it was like a split screen, and they showed Victoria, and they showed Phyllis kind of like looking out the window after she was kind of confiding in Lauren and just talking about everything that was happening. Okay, I get what they were trying to do, but it was just funny how they were basically saying these two women are against each other. But the thing is, Victoria, yeah, okay, she does seem like she's against Phyllis, but she is not handling it the same way as Phyllis. And up to this point, as Victoria made it a point to stress, she's been very ethical. It's only now that she's thinking about cheating since she's found out that, Jabot's not been the most honest company ever. Brittany Duran says, agree, Hubby Joe. Phyllis is ruining her chances staying with Billy by working with Jack. Yeah, definitely agree. Unfortunately, I sensed some tension, like chemistry tension between Jack and Phyllis too, which bugs me because personally I want Nikki and Jack to stay together. Speaking of, let's touch on this really fast. So Nikki basically standing her ground and saying, "Listen, Jack, if I hear that you're sabotaging my daughter's company, we're not going to be friends anymore." I really hope that Jack gets the message because, yeah, there's been too much back and forth, and Jack and Nikki were just starting to get together again. I really want to see that happen before something else happens and tears them apart. So please, like, I hope Jack finally comes to his senses. Well, we all know he won't, but I hope that he will and at least kind of back off for now. And then maybe if he backs off, Phyllis can be the one who's calling the shots and doing the sabotaging, and then we could see Billy get back with Victoria. That sounds like a plan. Let's see. We have Aaron Brody. He says her doctor says her hearing is fine because she keeps losing her hearing. Something is wrong. She needs to see a specialist. I completely agree, except so this time when she heard the ringing, nothing. So in the past, she'd hear the ringing and then suddenly she would be a different, almost like a different person, like she might have been more like drunk. This time, all it did was prevent her from hearing. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe she's healing a little bit. We will find out. I still think they could have done a lot more with that plot line, and they could have kept playing off the fact that it was making her do strange things and act in a different way than she normally would. So if they just kind of let it lie, I'll be a little disappointed because I think that they could really do stuff with that and help it to like up some of the tension and the drama on the show, especially with what's happening with Brash and Sassy right now. Beatrice says, yes, she does, Ashley. The doctor needs to come back, Neville. So I think Neville was the doctor from before, it sounds like. Hubby Joe says Nikki will find out the truth and go back to Victor. Aaron agrees. You're probably right. I really hope that doesn't happen, but you're probably right. And the thing is, yeah, like after this week, I actually don't dislike Victor as much as I did before. But I still don't want Nikki with Victor. I want her with Jack. Hubby Joe says, then Nikki and Victor will put the screws to Jack. Yeah, you're probably right. And then they'll step in and be like, nope, you're not going to mess with Brash and Sassy. We're not going to let you. And then they'll back away. Because Jack does seem, I wouldn't say scared of Victor, but he does seem to understand that he is a major threat to deal with. So, all right, well, let's just touch on Ashley and Ravi a little bit. So basically from, the last couple episodes in last week, we learned about this Brent guy who sounds like he's the actual father to Ashley. And they do not want to tell Abby, and they don't want to really tell anyone. It's this huge secret. So I'm very curious what's going to happen with that. What do you guys think? Do you guys remember Brent from before? Do you have anything to add about him as a character? Do you think he's going to show up again? Let's hear what your thoughts are on that. And then pretty much the last thing that we can discuss tonight is everything that's going on with Nick and Victor and Faith. So there were things that kind of frustrated me with that. The thing that they know, none of the adults in this situation seem to understand, is that Faith is a 10-year-old girl. She came home from camp and they switched where she lived, and she's now in a new environment altogether. Did they really not think that this would not affect her? Chelsea did. Chelsea was very aware and mentioned it to Nick before Faith moved back, but Nick didn't realize that Faith might be a little upset by this. And what is Victor really up to right now with everything that's going on? Because he's doing things that seem like they're kind of nice at times, like returning the furniture and letting Faith have it. And just the way he is around Faith is really nice. But what's his end game with this? What is he actually trying to do? Why did he sneak to camp and tell her first? Was it just to, basically stoke the fire? I wonder, because Victor is definitely up to no good, and I really want to know what he's planning. Ice Woman said, Brent is the father of Ashley. He was on in the 80s and he died on screen. Oh, okay. So we won't see Brent, but it sounds like we are still going to see more drama that has to do with him. And it really seemed like Ashley was pretty emotional after everything that was happening. Just kind of being reminded of it. I wonder too, brings up another good point. So if Brent is Ashley's father, then I wonder what she thought of her, the father who raised her. If she considers him to be more the father, or if Brent. Interesting questions that maybe we will find the answers to in the next couple of weeks. Beatrice says, when Brent was alive, he was an egomaniac and he felt like he was entitled to Dina and he was just a fling. Interesting. And Brittany says, yes, Hubby Joe, if Nikki finds out about what Jack is up to, it would push her back to Victor. Yeah. Here's the thing with Nikki. If she's not going to be with Jack, fine, but I still don't want her to be with Victor. At this point, like, he needs to change, which is probably not going to happen. So let's go to our lol moment of the week. So I had a couple. One, when Victor came in, when Victor was talking to Sharon, and just the way that he was acting with her was kind of funny. And then when he said, did I ask you to come in and lecture me about your family? I don't know, the way he said it, it made me laugh. And then the other moment I mentioned earlier, it was when Victor was talking to Abby about Zach before they actually met up. And he held his fist in the air and he said, what I'm saying to you is that if that punk does anything to you, and that's all he said. And he just kept shaking his fist. I laughed so hard. It was not even funny. So, all right, let's end our final moments with predictions. So what do you guys... Hey!
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
Predictions. Well, I think that Sharon is going to come head-to-head with Alice, and someone's going to find out about Zach and how he's involved. I hope Abby's the one, but if it's not Abby, I think Tessa... I think like a couple of you guys mentioned, maybe Tessa's actually related to Alice. That would be interesting. I think that everything with Faith is going to keep going and it's not going to end well, and Victor's going to do something crazy. And I think that we may see Jack I think Jack's going to continue to do what he's doing against Brash and Sassy, and like everyone else is saying in the chat, it's going to push Nikki back to Victor. So let's see if we have any final comments in the chat. Okay, Kimmy Sylvester says Dr. Neville, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, was a doctor that treated Hillary when she was in a coma. Okay, that's interesting. Ice Woman says Ashley always viewed John Abbott as her father. Only Dina, Jack, Victor, and Ashley know Ashley's true paternity. Oh, okay. So Jack does know. I was curious to know if he did. Aaron said that Brent was an evil man. It's why Dina didn't want him to be Ashley's father. Okay, that makes sense. And Beatrice says, as a prediction, I think that Billy's going to break up with Phyllis. I 100% agree with you. That is definitely going to happen. Of all the couples that I think are going to end up back together, I definitely think that Billy and Victoria are going to be one of those couples. Oh, and Emma says, hey guys, guess who's back? Hi, Emma. Thanks for joining. And, Hubby Joe says Team Victor. Oh no, not me. I don't care what Jack's up to. I'm still Team Jack. Aaron says, I think Ashley's big secret about her real dad will come out on the Hillary Hour. Oh, you're probably right. It will. Well, anyway, guys, I think this about wraps up all our time, and I think we're out of comments in the chat. So My name is Rachel Goodman. Thank you all for being part of the After Show. Again, it's been amazing, especially with my lovely co-host joining me. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram at Rach Goodman or on Facebook at Rachel Ann Goodman. And also, if you happen to watch Ray Donovan on Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I am one of the hosts on that panel reviewing the show. So thank you, everyone. Have a great week, and I will see you all next Sunday. I think we're going to be back at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time again. Bye, guys. Thank you.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.